financially and close shop due to the impact of COVID-19. The CEO of 360 Global Solutions Group, Khandani Msibi, says there will be new opportunities for black business post-COVID-19. Msibi joins us live via Skype from Johannesburg to talk about the new normal and possible business opportunities post-COVID-19. A very good afternoon, rather, Mr. Msibi. Thank you so much for joining us. How, according to you, has the COVID-19 impacted black business?
Thank you very much, Desiree, and thank you for having me. COVID-19 has impacted all businesses very, very badly. Black business is not spared, but there's an irony that I just want to point out, that if 2 years ago someone said to you the entire productive sector of the South African economy will require to be rescued by the state, we probably would have thought that's just a pipe dream. But here we are. Today, the state will be standing behind a 200 billion rands loan, which for all intents and purposes is a rescue of business, largely a white business. And what is interesting for me is that black business, which had to emerge out of apartheid and having endured the misfortune of having inherited nothing from our parents as a result of historical oppression, has had to try and make do without any support from the state. But as soon as a white business is in trouble, the state is coming up with a 200 billion rands rescue support package. And I think I want to point out that black business needed that kind of support from the state when we came out of apartheid. But where we are today, the black business need to understand that a lot of white businesses have been destroyed in a number of sectors. And the consumer demand and the consumer consumption of goods is changing rapidly. That when we go into the post-COVID world, we're not going to the same world where consumption patterns would have returned to the pre-COVID world. It's a new world. And for us as a group, we've been investing in financial services, in a medical aid administration, and last year we took a decision to invest in Biotech, because we saw Biotech as a new area of value creation, and also an area where South Africa has an advantage because of the biodiversity endowment that South Africa has, both in terms of plant and also in terms of its people, and Africa as a continent. And we believe that the black business must look into all of these new sectors and begin to create new value, as opposed to try to retain only what we have today.
I hear what you're saying, but I just want to go back to a point you're making and clarify there, where you were saying that the 500 billion is mostly meant for white business. What do you mean there?
If you listen to and you read what is written about it, right, it is there to stand behind the loans that have been taken and companies that have a good standing with banks. It actually means that it is for the current clients of banks. And we do know that a lot of SMMEs and a lot of black business don't have those kinds of credit lines. The majority of the credit lines in South Africa are undisputably with white business. And if you have a scheme whose intention is to almost support the existing bank clients, the majority of them are white, and by implication, that's where it will go. And the point that I'm making is that we would have needed, we would have been in a better place if, as black business in 1994, when we said that we're creating a new South Africa, we have had that kind of a support, because there's a recognition of the impact of COVID on white business, on all business, right? But there was no recognition of the impact of apartheid on black business, and that's the reason why black business remains relatively weak today, in that it has never had the necessary injection that recognized how it actually suffered under apartheid.
We were speaking to a business during the week that claims to have solutions for how government can efficiently and effectively roll out social relief payments. And it's a black firm, and they were asserting that they're not getting support from government. What are your thoughts about this kind of conversation?
I think we need the government to be very bold about supporting black business. And it is in the interest of government to do so. The reason why I believe that is that as it is now, the South African economy is owned and in a very concentrated manner. There's a few families, a few people who own the economy, who benefit from the economy. And all of these people, the more money they make, it does not result in more expenditure in the economy. Whereas if you bring black business in, you're bringing in people that are new into the economy, and therefore whatever income that they earn, they spend in the economy, and the economy grows. Right? It's a funny thing that we need to spend more in order to build the economy. But if we're not in a position where we're bringing more and more people into the South African economy who've been excluded, it means that we don't have the critical mass needed for consumption, which is what will build the South African economy. I do think that the state needs to think more about building a new economy as opposed to exclusively trying to save the pre-COVID economy. It's necessary to save the pre-COVID economy, but if that's all we do and we don't create a new economy, we're going to get the same results we had with the pre-COVID economy, in that one, it was not growing and declining, and not creating a substantial number of jobs, and also not expansive enough to bring in more people into the activities of the country's economy.
Mr. Msibi, this post-COVID-19 economy that you're talking about, President Cyril Ramaphosa himself has previously asserted that after this entire process, the South African economy will look completely different. In what aspects, in which aspects do you disagree with him? And this new economy, can black business on their own bring it about, or will they still need government support? There
has not been much detail that came out of the state president in as far as the new economy is concerned. But I do think that it is something that we all needed to contribute towards the building. My immediate ideas here or suggestion would be to look at the things that we've done wrong as a country. One is that we've lost the advantage in as far as pharmaceuticals are concerned. We are importing over 80% of pharmaceutical goods from India, China, the United States, and other countries. We do need to look into the possibility of recreating the pharmaceutical industry in South Africa. And that's where black business needs to look at investing, so that we can remove our reliance on the foreign companies for pharmaceutical goods. I mean, during this period, we've seen that we rely more on China for masks. I mean, masks are not a complex goods to manufacture, but over the years, we've accepted that we will import manufactured goods from other countries instead of driving our own economy to become a manufacturing-driven economy. And this is something that we've done deliberately as a country when we financialized the economy and opened up weak sectors to competition from foreign.
Mr. Msibi, I hear what you're saying, but isn't your suggestion disingenuous. We all know how difficult it will be to dismantle the pharmaceutical monopoly, for argument's sake, since you're saying that we need to grow in this particular space.
It's not as fearful as we're made to believe, right? As a group, our group has entered biotech, pharmaceuticals. We're launching products on women's health to deal with menstrual complications. We're launching products that are CBD based. In fact, South Africa is ahead in many areas of research with on CBD. I mean, through the CSIR partnership, we're going to be launching in the next 2 months products that are based on nanotechnology for CBD, THC, which is what the world is still struggling on. We have NETSA, which is a leader in the world in as far as radioisotopes for nuclear medicine is concerned. But we have not developed the applications in South Africa. Instead, we are exporting the radioisotopes. All we are saying that we must use what we have. And also, the CSIR has done a lot of work in as far as pharmaceuticals is concerned. We can use the IP in the CSIR to revolutionize our pharmaceutical industry. In fact, as a group, I can tell you something now, that in partnership with the CSIR, we are working on a COVID solution, right, that we started on in February, and we'll come up with a treatment, we'll come up with a prophylaxis. And we've ordered API from China and the US, which has just been released now. So the capability is there in the country for us to actually become a dominant player in biotech. I don't know if you are aware that South Africa has more biodiversity in terms of plant than a significant part of Europe. But we've allowed foreign companies to come and take our biodiversity endowments and produce drugs. We should be producing drugs. We have UCT, we have Northwest University, we have Wits University, we have the CSIR. We should be mobilizing these institutions towards producing real IP for the economy and getting the new entrepreneurs to invest in the new economy, as opposed to trying to do what we've always done before. But we're a capable country. We're much more capable than our politicians have, over the years, have allowed us to demonstrate. I mean, how old is ISCO? I mean, Sasol with its coal to fuel technology. It's a kind of technological wonders that have actually come out of South Africa, and we just need to be much more confident in ourselves and begin to do smart things for the country.
Mr. Msibi, I'm thoroughly enjoying our conversation and would like to continue, but as it happens with television conversations, time constraints get in the way. But thank you so much for your time this afternoon.